Vladimir Putin, long seen as the indomitable leader of Russia, is now facing the most severe test of his power as the war in Ukraine drags on with unexpected consequences. What began as a bold move to reassert Russian dominance has spiraled into a quagmire that threatens to unravel his grip on power. In this video, we'll dive deep into how Ukraine's surprising resilience, bolstered by Western support, is not only challenging Russia's military might, but also shaking the very foundations of Putin's leadership. Stay tuned as we explore the unfolding crisis that could redefine Russia's future. The situation in Ukraine has placed Vladimir Putin in one of the most challenging periods of his leadership. What was initially intended as a swift and decisive military operation to assert Russia's dominance has instead devolved into a prolonged and grueling conflict. This war has not only strained Russia's military capabilities, but also exposed significant weaknesses within Putin's strategic framework and his ability to maintain control both domestically and internationally. From the outset, Putin's invasion of Ukraine was seen as a bold move to reassert Russian influence over neighboring countries and challenge the post-Cold War European order. However, the invasion quickly met with fierce resistance from Ukrainian forces. Supported by Western military aid, Ukraine managed to halt the Russian advance and even push back in several key areas. The conflict, initially expected to be brief, has turned into a drawn-out war of attrition, with heavy casualties on both sides and no clear victory in sight for Russia. Domestically, the extended war has begun to erode the strongman image that has been central to Putin's rule for years. The Russian military, once believed to be formidable, has faced logistical issues, low morale, and significant losses. This has contributed to a growing perception that Putin's military strategy is flawed and that his grip on power is weakening. Internationally, the war has isolated Russia from much of the global community. Severe economic sanctions from the West have crippled key sectors of the Russian economy, including energy exports, financial services, and technology imports. These sanctions, combined with the cost of the war, have placed immense pressure on Russia's economy, leading to inflation, a declining ruble, and shortages of essential goods. This economic strain has increased dissatisfaction among the Russian populace, further weakening Putin's domestic standing. The conflict has also exposed the limits of Russia's alliances. While countries like China and India have maintained a neutral or supportive stance toward Russia, they have not provided the level of support that Putin may have anticipated. China's backing, for instance, has been more rhetorical than practical, leaving Russia increasingly isolated and dependent on its own dwindling resources. On the geopolitical front, NATO, which was perceived as weakened and divided before the invasion, has found new purpose and unity in response to Russia's aggression. The alliance has expanded with Finland and Sweden seeking membership, further encircling Russia with NATO-aligned states. This expansion underscores the failure of Putin's strategy to weaken NATO and represents a significant strategic loss for Russia. The ongoing conflict has led to growing discontent within the Russian elite. Reports suggest that factions within the Kremlin and the broader Russian power structure are increasingly dissatisfied with the direction of the war and its impact on Russia's global standing. While Putin has maintained power through repression, media control, and the loyalty of security services, the continued failures in Ukraine could embolden his critics and rivals, potentially leading to challenges to his leadership. A core issue for Putin is the unexpected and rapidly improving effectiveness of Ukraine's military, bolstered by comprehensive Western support. The provision of advanced military hardware, such as Patriot missile systems and Western fighter jets, has the potential to fundamentally alter the trajectory of the conflict, challenging Russia's military dominance and undermining Putin's objectives in Ukraine. The introduction of Patriot missile systems, among the most advanced air defense systems in the world, has significantly enhanced Ukraine's ability to protect its skies from Russian air and missile attacks. These systems, combined with the arrival of Western fighter jets like the F-16s, provide Ukraine with a tactical edge that was previously out of reach. This combination of missile defense systems and fighter jets is set to change the course of the war, enabling Ukraine to conduct coordinated offensives with aerial support and reclaim significant portions of territory. For Russia, these developments are alarming. The Russian military, which has prided itself on its strength and technological prowess, now faces a formidable challenge from a Ukrainian military that is rapidly modernizing and adapting. The effectiveness of Ukraine's new capabilities undermines the narrative of Russian military superiority that Putin has long cultivated. Moreover, the war is exposing the limitations of Russia's military hardware, particularly the much-vaunted S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile systems, which have failed to live up to expectations on the battlefield. The decline in the effectiveness of Russian military equipment is not only a tactical disadvantage, but also a strategic blow to Russia's global standing as a leading arms supplier. Countries like India, historically key clients of Russian military technology, are beginning to question the reliability of Russian arms and may increasingly turn to alternative suppliers. As the war drags on, the strain on Russia's military resources is becoming increasingly apparent. The loss of key assets, such as the Black Sea Fleet, has left Russia vulnerable on multiple fronts. The destruction of the Black Sea Fleet, in particular, is a symbolic and strategic blow to Russia's presence in Crimea, a region crucial to its operations in Ukraine. Crimea, annexed by Russia in 2014, was meant to serve as a launchpad for Russian operations in Ukraine. However, Ukrainian forces, bolstered by Western support, have turned Crimea from a strategic asset into a potential liability for Russia. The loss of Crimea, or even the inability to effectively use it as a military base, would be catastrophic for Putin's war effort. It would symbolize a major strategic defeat and likely lead to significant political repercussions in Russia. The fall of Crimea could also embolden Ukraine and its Western allies, further eroding Russia's position on the international stage. Domestically, the potential loss of Crimea could spark a crisis of confidence in Putin's leadership. The Russian public, which has largely supported Putin's aggressive foreign policy, might begin to question his competence and the wisdom of his decisions. This could erode the carefully constructed image of Putin as a leader who brings stability and strength to Russia, leading to increased opposition, protests, and challenges from within the Russian elite. The war in Ukraine has exposed the vulnerabilities of Vladimir Putin's leadership. What was supposed to be a demonstration of Russian strength has turned into a quagmire that is weakening Russia on multiple fronts. The loss of key military assets, the economic impact of sanctions, and the growing disillusionment among the Russian populace are all chipping away at Putin's strongman image. As the conflict continues, the risks to Putin's grip on power are becoming more pronounced. Whether through a major military defeat, a loss of public support, or a combination of both, the possibility that Putin could be finished as a political force in Russia is becoming increasingly likely. The situation Putin finds himself in highlights the risks of overreach and the potential consequences of a flawed strategic vision. His attempts to reassert Russian dominance have instead revealed the limits of Russia's military and economic power. The resilience of Ukraine, bolstered by Western support, has fundamentally altered the dynamics of the conflict, challenging Russia's long-held position as a dominant military force in the region. Domestically, Putin's position seems increasingly precarious. The war's protraction, coupled with its heavy toll on the Russian economy and military, has begun to erode the very foundation of his power, his image as an invincible leader. The cracks in this image could lead to a broader loss of public trust and confidence, potentially destabilizing his regime from within. Internationally, Russia's isolation is growing and its influence waning. The expansion of NATO, the loss of traditional arms clients, and the diminishing effectiveness of its military technology all signal a decline in Russia's global standing. If Putin continues down this path, he may find that his once iron grip on power has weakened beyond repair. In conclusion, the war in Ukraine has turned into a pivotal moment for Putin's leadership. The challenges he faces, both at home and abroad, suggest that his ability to maintain control is no longer assured. The future of Russia under his rule is now more uncertain than ever. If you found this deep dive into the challenges facing Vladimir Putin and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine insightful, make sure to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us bring more in-depth analysis on the world's most pressing issues. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.